Good afternoon. Welcome back to Joliet, Illinois, Dooley Health and Care Field, where it's time for game number 2 of today's doubleheader between the University of St. Francis and Lincoln College, the finale of a 3-game series, so far dominated by the Fighting Saints. St. Francis has outscored Lincoln so far 31-5 over the course of the first 2 games of this 3-game set, and now they'll try to wrap up the sweep and the doubleheader sweep as well, as we take a look at the starting lineup for the visiting Lincoln College Lynx, who will bat first today. Leading things off is their catcher, Brendan Eigenbrod. Grant Stansberry bats second and plays third base. Josh Tarlin remains in the 3 spot, playing shortstop. The cleanup hitter is Lucas Harmon. Harmon in this game plays first base. Jorge Saldana is in the lineup in right field, batting fifth. Caden Lewis is the designated hitter. Drake Davidson bats 7th in center field. Dominic Tenayuka moves into second base here in game 2. And batting 9th, left fielder Dylan Elders. The starting pitcher for the Fighting Saints here in game number 2 is right-hander Kevin Cardis. Cardis is on the mound. He's ready to get started. He winds up for the first pitch of the ball game, and it is over for strike 1, and we're underway. 3:16 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The count is 0-1 on Brendan Eigenbrod, who is the second baseman in Game 1. He'll catch here in Game 2. He hits a ground ball back up the middle, off the mound, over second base, fielded by Carraro. The throw to first is not in time. It's an infield single to get the game started. And after their first 7 batters were all retired in Game number 1, Lincoln has a base runner on just the second pitch here in Game 2. Good speed for a catcher. Brendan Eigenbrod played second base in Game 1. He was able to leg that one out impressively on a softly hit ground ball up the middle. I don't think Carraro could have done anything different than he did. He just was outspeeded on the play. Eigenbrod is aboard. Here's Grant Stansberry, who hits a sharp liner up the middle, just out of the reach of a diving John McGuire at second base. Singles on back-to-back pitches, and there are 2 on with nobody out for Lincoln, who tries to strike first here in Game 2. Good start for the Lynx. Here's Josh Tarlin. Kevin Cardis is making just his 3rd start of the year. It's his 8th appearance on the mound this season for St. Francis. He's 1-2 with a 6.16 ERA. His first pitch to Tarlin is taken for strike 1. Cardis this season in 19 innings pitched has allowed 17 runs, 13 of them earned on 24 hits coming into play today. He has struck out 8 and walked 10 on the season. He's ahead of Josh Tarlin, 0-1, looking for a ground ball here with 2 on and nobody out. Fakes a throw over to second base, making sure Eigenbrod stays close. Josh Tarlin went 1 for 3 with a single in the opener today. A 311 hitter for the season. Cardis takes a good long look in at his catcher, Liam Higgins, who gets the Game 2 start here. The 0-1 pitch is hit in the air out to left center field. Ketchum and Vera converge on it. Luke Ketchum makes the grab for the first out of the inning. Tarlin flies out to center, 1 away. Runners stay put at first and second base. And the batter will be Lucas Harmon, the first baseman.
First baseman, number 23, Lucas Harmon.
Harmon caught Game 1. He's at first base here in Game 2. 0 for 3 in the opener. Made contact all 3 times up, but was not able to reach base. He takes ball 1 inside. Not striking out is worth noting against Ryan Daly in Game 1. He ended up finishing with 8 strikeouts over 7 innings pitched. He went the distance. Complete game shutout for Daly. And now Cardis gets his chance here in Game 2, and he misses downstairs for a 2-0 count on Harmon. 2 hits in the inning for Lincoln. They were held to just 5 hits for the entire game in Game 1. But one thing they were adept at in Game 1, and this is not a good thing for them, that's leaving runners in scoring position. Ball in the dirt. It's 3-0. But that's something that Cardis is going to try to do here in the first inning of this game. Leave a couple of men on base one of them at second base already right now. Lincon had at least one runner reach second base in 4 consecutive innings at one point in game 1. Didn't help him score. Strike called on Harmon. 3-1 the count. They drew as a team only 1 walk in game 1, and only 2 batters even saw 3-ball counts. It's 3-1 here on Harmon, though, in the first inning of game 2. And he takes another one in the zone. The count goes full. So Cardis has worked his way back into this at bat. We'll see if the junior right-hander can put him away now. Eigenbrod's at second. Stansberry's at first. 1 out in the inning. 3-2 pitch coming to Lucas Harmon. Ground ball up the middle. Gloved by McGuire. He carries it to second base. Throws to first, and that's a double play. Gotta feel good for McGuire. He grounded into a few of those himself in game 1. This time he's able to get a couple of outs in the field. 4-3, the twin killing. Harmon is retired, and so are the Lynx in the top of the first inning. 2 hits, no runs. We go to the bottom of the frame. St. Francis will come to bat for the first time in a scoreless tie. Here in the bottom of the first inning, Noah Carraro will lead things off for the Fighting Saints. He's playing shortstop. Batting second, second baseman John McGuire. Eric Maffey hits third at first base. Jake Lasota is the designated hitter here in the second game. Luke Ketchum bats fifth, playing center field. Sam Tumulty is in right, the number 6 hitter. Jonathan Wolf plays third base. Liam Higgins bats eighth behind the plate. And batting ninth, left fielder Jake Vera. The starting pitcher for Lincon College here in game number 2 is number 34. 1 second, we're ready to get started here as he fires a strike. That strike comes in from Derek Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald, the sophomore right-hander, gets a swing and a miss from Carraro and moves the count to 0-2. Fitzgerald this season has started 1 game before. This is his 8th appearance overall. He's 0-1 with a 19.64 ERA. The right-hander winds up for the 0-2 pitch. Carraro hits it in the air, shallow right field. Jorge Saldana comes in on it, now goes back and loses it in the sun as it drops behind him. Carraro heads to second base, rounding second. He goes for third. The relay throw comes in from right field, and it's not in time. A soft triple for Noah Carraro on an 0-2 pitch. And a good start to the ball game offensively for the Fighting Saints. Saldana just lost that ball in the sun. At least that's what it appeared. He misjudged it, came in, and then at the last second tried to recover by going back on it. Too little, too late. Triple for Carraro. Here's John McGuire knocking it down the right field line, foul for strike 1. So Carraro's had a perfect day. He reached base in all 4 of his plate appearances in the opener. 2 walks, 2 hit by pitches. So he's got his first hit of the day. And it's also his team leading 3rd triple this season. 0-1 on McGuire, who swings again and pops it foul and out of play. 0-2. McGuire went 0 for 3 in the opener today. He dropped down a sacrifice bunt in his first at bat. Then after that, he grounded into 3 consecutive double plays. Double play not too likely right here with a runner at third base. McGuire hits a hard grounder to the shortstop, picked up cleanly by Tarlin, who throws to first in time for the out. But that brings Noah Carraro home from third base. It's 1-0 Fighting Saints. That one worked out pretty well for all involved. Lincon got their out, but the Saints got their run. Bases are empty now with 1 down, and Eric Maffey bats for the first time. 373 hitter. Maffey, like Carraro, didn't have to do much to have a productive game 1 as he takes strike 1. He was hit by 2 pitches, stole 2 bases, and scored 2 runs. He also drove 1 in on a sacrifice fly, officially 0 for 1 in the game, but reached base twice, scored 2 runs, and drove 1 in. Swings and misses here. The count goes to 0-2. Already 1-0 St. Francis in the bottom of the first inning. They scored once in the first in game 1 as well. Maffey takes low, 1-2. Derek Fitzgerald entering today's game had thrown 11 innings on the season, allowing 27 runs, 24 of them earned on 23 hits with 8 walks and 5 strikeouts. He's got an even count on Maffey here, 2-2. Ball low, 3-2. Fitzgerald really should be off to a good start today. The run he allowed was earned following the triple and the RBI ground out. Maffey floats it into right field. Another chance for Saldana. He goes back on it again, and again it's over his head. Hits high off the wall on a bounce as Maffey rounds second and tries for third. Now he's caught up between second and third base, and he ends up diving to the bag safely with a triple. He kind of pulled one over on the shortstop, Josh Tarlin there. There was nobody covering second base as Maffey tried to slow himself down, thinking about going back to second. And then at the last instant, as Tarlin didn't make the throw to third, Maffey realized he had all the momentum and he could easily make it to third. If Tarlin had just thrown that ball there normally on the relay toss, he probably would have gotten an out. Ball 1 inside on Jake Lasota, who bats with a man at third and 1 out. Ball up and in, 2-0. And Jorge Saldana is off to a very rough start out in right field. A couple of catchable balls, and he badly misplayed them both. Called strike 1. I was just saying it's kind of unfortunate for Fitzgerald. The run he allowed to begin the inning is earned as Lasota fouls it off, 2-2. But it really wasn't his fault. Saldana misplayed what should have been a routine out in right field, turned it into a triple. It's a hit, not an error, but it was more the defense's fault than the pitcher's. Lasota gets plunked on the arm on a soft toss. That's the first batter to be hit by a pitch here in Game 2, but it happened 7 times in Game 1. That's the second time today that Lasota has reached base on a hit by a pitch. They're at the corners with 1 out, and Luke Ketchum is the batter.
Center fielder, number 20, Luke Ketchum.
Luke Ketchum leads the team with 10 home runs this year. He's driven in 33 runs. Actually 35. He added 2 to his total earlier today as he drives this one out to deep left center field and into the gap. That drops in for a base hit with a run scoring. Lasota moves to third base. Ketchum is tagged out at second. Nice throw from left center field as Ketchum is retired, trying to stretch a single into a double. Jake Lasota does make it safely into third base, and Maffey scores. It's 2-0 St. Francis, and now 2 outs in the inning. So it's an RBI single for Luke Ketchum. That gives him 36 RBIs on the season as Sam Tumulty has to back out of the way of the high and tight first pitch. Ball 1. Fitzgerald working quickly on the mound. Delivers the next one. It's fouled off to the left side. 1-1. Two runs are in, thanks to 2 triples in the inning. Ball low and away, 2-1. RBIs for McGuire and Ketchum. Ball low and away. It's 3-1 on Sam Tumulty. 300 hitter at the start of play today. Sam Tumulty went 2 for 3. Couple of singles and a run scored in game one. He hits this one high in the air out to shallow left center field. Drake Davidson comes in, called off by the second baseman Dominic Tenayuka, going out into shallow center to make the catch. The inning is over, but not before 2 runs score on 3 hits, including a pair of triples. The Saints leave one. We'll head to the second, 2-0 St. Francis. Top of the second inning, Lincon comes to bat, trailing 2-0. Jorge Saldana leads things off. The right fielder gets his first at bat of the day and takes the first pitch strike from Kevin Cardis. Cardis pitched around some first inning trouble. First 2 batters of the game reached on singles for Lincon. They were left at first and second base, though, as the next 2 batters were retired, including a double play. Swing and a miss, it's 0-2. Jorge Saldana starting in right field here in the second game is a .271 batter. 13 for 48 on the year. 3 doubles, 3 RBIs. Swing and a miss, he is out number 1. 3-pitch strikeout for Cardis. That's his 9th strikeout of the season. First strikeout of the game, and that brings up Caden Lewis. Lewis gets his first at-bat of the game, starting for the 14th time this year. He's the designated hitter, a .324 average on the year. He takes ball 1 outside. First ball of the inning from Cardis. Caden Lewis has homered once this year, 10 runs batted in. He hits a chopper foul to the right side. 1-1. 3 straight links have been retired after the first 2 reached. Cardis trying to make it 3 in a row here. Now that he's pitching with the lead, both teams had a couple of hits in the first inning, but the Saints were able to turn theirs into 2 runs. Lincon was not. Strike high in the zone. It's 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ball outside, 2-2. St. Francis actually had 3 hits in the first inning to 2 for Lincon, but 2 of those St. Francis hits were misplayed fly balls. So the Lynx had a chance to get out of the inning without allowing any runs. Cardis strikes out Lewis, back-to-back swinging strikeouts, 2 down. Here's Drake Davidson. Davidson, the center fielder, is a .224 batter for the season. He was the number 5 hitter in game 1, went 0 for 3, dropped to number 7 in the order here in game 2, and he takes strike 1. Cardis back into the windup. Next toss, misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. St. Francis won game 1 today, 10-0, so they're out to a 12-0 start in today's doubleheader. This ball is fouled off 1-2, with a long way still to play here in the second contest, but trying to earn another doubleheader sweep, something that has become commonplace for the Fighting Saints here in conference play. They took a pair from Trinity Christian just on Thursday right here. Fouled back, still 1-2. So winning this game would give them 5 in a 3-day span. A win in this game would also push them above the 500 mark. They're 21-21 overall on the season following their win earlier this afternoon. 1-2, misses up high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. After back-to-back Ks, Cardis is trying to strike out the side. Instead, he hits him. Davidson will take his base. First Lynx player to be hit by a pitch today. After we've seen 8 guys reach base on hit by pitches for St. Francis. And Davidson high steps it down to first base. Well, his teammates like that. They're excited to have a base runner here with 2 down in the second. Here's Dominic Teneyuka batting for the first time. Batting in the 8th spot, playing second base here in game 2. He was the right fielder in the opener as he swings at the first pitch here. Flies into shallow right center. Ketchum comes in, makes the grab, and ends the inning. So the 2-out hit by pitch is the extent of the Lincon offense in the second inning. We'll go to the bottom of the frame. St. Francis 2, Lincon nothing. Already a 2-run lead for St. Francis as they come to bat in the bottom of the second inning, trying to extend that 2-0 advantage. They'll send their 7, 8, and 9 hitters up against Derek Fitzgerald. Jonathan Wolf takes ball 1. Wolf, Higgins, and Vera do up this inning. Fitzgerald didn't pitch poorly in the first, but he gives up base hit on the second pitch of the second inning as Wolf is aboard, a single to left field. Jonathan Wolf, who's been swinging the bat really well of late, has reached base for the 3rd time in 4 trips to the plate in this doubleheader. 4th hit for St. Francis. Here's Liam Higgins, a potential bunter. Higgins had a hit in game 1 and is only at bat. Came on as a late replacement for Jake Lasota. On the season, Higgins is now 3 for 21, a 143 batting average. Throw over to first base. The runner gets back in safely. Fitzgerald gets the sign and sets. Higgins does square to bunt, drops down the third base line foul, and that's strike 1. Higgins has not dropped down a sacrifice bunt this year, not successfully. Hasn't had a ton of opportunities. This is just his 6th start this season. He comes up with a man on base here, trying to extend this lead with the hot-hitting Jake Vera on deck. Vera, who had the biggest hit in Game 1, trying to come to bat with a man in scoring position. The count is 0-1. Fitzgerald readies for the next toss. Higgins is not bunting this time. He takes ball 1 outside to even the count. Grant Stansberry came way in at third, projecting the bunt after that first pitch. Now he's forced to back up, about a half step behind the base. Higgins again not bunting, swings away and fouls it back. The count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bottom of the 2nd inning, Game 2 of a doubleheader. St. Francis has not allowed a run yet in 9 innings of work on the mound. Combination of Ryan Daly in Game 1 and Kevin Cardis here in Game 2. Ball outside, 2-2. The offense has been there, albeit with a lot of help. Some defensive miscues contributed to the first inning rally, and they're hitting their way to it in the 2nd inning as Higgins rolls it inside the third base line. Jonathan Wolf to third base. He stops there. It's a double for Liam Higgins. 2 on, nobody out in the bottom of the 2nd inning. First extra base hit of the year for Higgins. He's now 2 for 2 in this game, or rather than this doubleheader. 1 for 1 in the game. And he's jumped that batting average up from 100 at the beginning of the day all the way up to almost 200 now. He's 4 for 22 for the season. So John Peterson comes into his usual role, pinch running for the catcher. He's at second base. Vera at the plate. Wolf at third. Fitzgerald steps off the rubber before his first pitch to Jake Vera. Game 1, Vera came to bat 3 times. He went 1 for 2. First 2 at-bats, a sacrifice bunt and a strikeout. And his last at-bat was a booming 4-run homer over the right field wall. And the first pitch he saw in that at-bat. It was his first home run of the year, gave him 21 RBIs. Hitting almost 500 over the last month. Vera takes ball 1 in the dirt. Brendan Eigenbrod kept it in front of him. Count is 1-0. Next pitch misses low and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Already a dangerous spot here for Derek Fitzgerald, getting a little bit more dangerous as the 2-0 pitch misses low and in. 3 balls and no strikes. If Vera were to walk, it would load the bases for Noah Carraro. Fitzgerald has not walked anybody yet, trying to keep that record intact, but he does not. Was not close on any of the 4 pitches to Jake Vera, and they are indeed loaded with nobody out for Noah Carraro. Noah is 1 for 1 today. Hit a shallow fly ball to right field in the first inning. Saldana overran it, landed over his head, and it ended up rolling for a little bit, becoming a triple for the St. Francis shortstop. One of those right here would mean 3 runs. Strike over the outside corner, 0-1. Ball high, that evens it up. 1 ball and 1 strike. Single, double, walk. That's been the sequence so far this inning. St. Francis has got 5 hits already in this game. They've had 7 total base runners after the first 9 hitters. Strike over the outside corner, 1-2. And Noah Carraro's down to his final strike as Fitzgerald searches for that elusive yet all-important first out. The 1-2. Carraro hits it hard but foul left side, forcing Jonathan Wolf, the runner at third, to duck out of the way. Still 1-2 on the leadoff man for USF. He has not been retired in 5 trips to the plate in this doubleheader. And now he has. Swing and a miss. A huge strikeout for Derek Fitzgerald. His first strikeout of the game. And a big first out. The bags are still full. But now a ground ball could potentially get Fitzgerald out of the inning. It's John McGuire in the box. McGuire takes ball 1. John McGuire is 0 for 1 today. An RBI ground out in the first inning. He hits this one in the air out to center field. That sends Drake Davidson twirling back towards the warning track. He makes the catch. The runners tag. One of them scores. The others hold their positions. It's 3 to nothing St. Francis as John McGuire picks up his second RBI of the game. RBI ground out in the first, a sac fly here in the second. That'll do for McGuire. He's got 20 RBIs now for the season. And it brings up Eric Maffey. Maffey is 1 for 1 with a triple. He scored a run back in the first inning. First pitch swinging, Maffey pops it up. On the infield, right side, the second baseman, Tenayuka, makes the catch and ends the inning. Saints load the bases with nobody out. They end up with 1 run, but that's all. Nice work by Derek Fitzgerald to work his way out of it. As we head to the third, our score has become St. Francis 3, Lincon nothing.
Leading off the Lincon third inning.
3-0 St. Francis, 2 innings down, 7 still on the slate for today. Lincon trails by 3. They'll send their 9-1 and 2 hitters up against Kevin Cardis as they try to break through for the first time. Dylan Elders takes ball 1 high and away. 1-0 on Elders. Brendan Eigenbrod on deck. Elders hits it in the air, shallow center. McGuire, Carraro both back up on it. The shortstop drifts back and makes the grab. 1 away. Good start to the inning for Kevin Cardis, who has made it through 1 full rotation around the batting order. He's allowed 2 hits so far. They came to the first 2 hitters of the game. Since then, he has settled in and pitched very well. Not allowed anybody to make it beyond second base so far. Brendan Eigenbrod swings and misses. Strike 1. This guy singled up the middle, an infield hit to begin the ball game today. He's in an 0-1 hole here. Ball outside. 1-1. Outside. 2 balls and 1 strike on Eigenbrod. Grant Stansberry is on deck. If anybody reaches this inning, we'll see Josh Tarlin for a second time. Back to the windup. Cardis' next pitch misses upstairs. 3-1. One out, nobody on base. 3 balls and 1 strike on the leadoff batter and catcher for Lincon. Eigenbrod takes ball 4 outside. So he's on base for the second time in this game. First walk issued by Cardis. He also hit 1 batter. Just the second time that a Lynx player has drawn a walk in today's doubleheader. Now, the 10th inning of action between the two games. Grant Stansberry is 1 for 1. He had a sharp single out to left field in the first inning. He flies this one into right, foul, and out of play. Strike 1. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for Lincon. 3-5-0 for St. Francis. A win for the Fighting Saints would make them 18-6 in conference play, which is perhaps the most important thing for them, but it would also bring their overall record to 22-21. The 0-1 outside for a ball, 1-1. This would be the first time all year that they've been above 500. In fact, at 21-21 following the Game 1 win, this is already the first time that they've been at 500 since they won their second game of the season to start 1-1. Since then, they have been below 500 the entire way. But boy, have they come to life during conference season. A very difficult non-conference schedule steeled them for this run in the CCAC as Stansberry flies it out to left field. Well hit, but easily playable. Jake Vera makes the grab. Eigenbrod returns to first base. 2 down. Eigenbrod was running on that pitch, but read it off the bat and immediately recognized he had to get back over to first. So he stands at first base with 2 outs for Josh Tarlin. Tarlin is 0 for 1, flew out to center field in the first inning. He bats for the second time as Cardis checks on Eigenbrod over at first. With Eigenbrod running on that last pitch, Cardis knows he's got to keep him pretty close over there. Tarlin, probably the best all-around hitter on this Lincon squad, takes a strike. And he's in a quick 0-1 hole. So far in today's doubleheader, 1 for 4. Another throw to first base to check on Eigenbrod. Brendan Eigenbrod running on that last pitch to Elders, or rather to Stansberry, which was a fly out. Makes it on to second base here as Tarlin knocks a single into left field. First hit of the inning, third of the game for Lincon, and it puts runners at first and second with 2 down for Lucas Harmon as the Lynx continue to search for their first run of the game. First run of the day after they were shut out in Game 1.
First baseman, number 23, Lucas Harmon.
It's only the second time this year that any pitcher has thrown a shutout against Lincon. There's a tapper by Lucas Harmon, back to the mound. Nice grab by the pitcher, Cardis. He fires over to first and gets the out. If that one gets by Cardis, it's probably an infield hit. But Cardis made a nice backhanded play on it, and his throw to first retires the side in the top of the third. We head to the bottom of the inning, 3-0 St. Francis. Jake Lasota leads off for the Saints, bottom of the third inning. St. Francis leads 3-0, and Jake Lasota takes ball one low and inside to begin his second plate appearance of the game. He was hit by a pitch in the first, something that happened to him in game one as well. He takes outside, now 2-0. Lasota's one of a bevy of Saints who's been hit a couple of times. An interesting first game. He was not retired in 3 trips to the plate. See, it's a chopper to third. Grant Stansberry over to first, and for the first time today, Lasota has been retired. 5-3 putout. For the first time in this game, the leadoff man has been set down. In fact, just the second time in 9 total innings of offense in today's Twin Bill in which the Saints leadoff batter has had to go back to the dugout. Here's Luke Ketchum with 1 out and nobody on. Ketchum is 1 for 1 with an RBI single, thrown out trying to stretch it to a double. He takes strike 1. Sam Tumulty is on deck. If anybody reaches this inning, it'll be Jonathan Wolf. Ketchum pops it up, right side foul. Lucas Harmon over in front of the St. Francis dugout, but that one is well out of play. The count goes to 0-2. Fighting Saints have scored in each of the first 2 innings of this game. In game 1, they scored in the first 3 innings. Ultimately ended up with runs in 5 out of the 6 innings they hit. It was a 7-inning game, but of course they didn't have to bat in the bottom of the 7th because they already had the win secured. So this is just their 9th inning of offense. As Ketchum pops it up, foul left side this time on the infield. This one does stay in play, but it's not caught. Brendan Eigenbrod couldn't locate it fast enough. The count remains 0-2. Eigenbrod made a late run at it, but was several feet short of being able to make the catch. It landed just next to the Lincon dugout on the home plate side. Again, it did stay in play, but it got down fast enough that because Eigenbrod couldn't see it right away, he never had a chance. Ball up and away, 1-2. Luke Ketchum looking for his second hit of the game. Swings and misses, strike 3. So instead of him getting his second hit, Fitzgerald gets his second strikeout. 2 down. And Sam Tumulty is the only thing standing between Fitzgerald and a 1-2-3 inning. It would be the first one of those today for Lincon if he can get it. Strike 1 called on Tumulty. Sam Tumulty is 0 for 1. He popped out to second base in the first inning. He hits a ground ball to the shortstop. Tarlin up with it, over to first, and the inning is over. The Saints do go down in order. The first 1-2-3 inning of the doubleheader. And we will head to the 4th inning of play. St. Francis 3, Lincon nothing. 5, 6, and 7 in the Lincon batting order due up in the top of the fourth as they try to make a run at the Fighting Saints here, trailing 3-0. Jorge Saldana takes ball one low and outside from Kevin Cardis, who has been pretty sharp today. Cardis has had to dance around some base runners each inning, but he's done so expertly. Ball inside, nearly hit him. Did it hit him? It did, yep. So he's going to take his base. Second batter to be hit by a Kevin Cardis pitch today. And the leadoff man reaches for the second time. Well, nothing new for Cardis here. Like I said, he's been pitching around base runners all game. That's 6 base runners through 3+ innings. But none of them have come around to score. In fact, none of them have so far made it even as far as third base. Caden Lewis drops down a bunt first base side. It's a good bunt picked up by Liam Higgins, who has no play. It's a bunt single for Lewis. 2 on with nobody out. 4th hit of the game for Lincon. It's the first for Lewis, and that was just a perfect bunt. It rolled to a stop down that first base line, right in between the pitcher and the catcher. Too shallow for the first baseman to even think about it. And just an impossible play right there for St. Francis. Higgins did the right thing in holding onto the ball and making sure that he didn't throw it away and allow further advance. Saldana's at second. Lewis is at first. Another bunt, this time from Davidson, picked up by Cardis. He looks at every base and ultimately decides that first is the one for him. So he gets Drake Davidson, and Davidson gets credit for the sacrifice. Lewis moves up to second base. Saldana to third. First base runner to reach third base today for the Lynx. And a real chance for some offense here. Dominic Tenayuka batting for the second time. He's 0 for 1, flew out to center field in the second inning. He squares to bunt, pushes it foul to the right side for strike 1. So not your typical squeeze play right there. With nobody at first base, you don't usually see a batter square around to bunt that early and actually go through with it. He did, but he pushed it foul. Just 1 out in the inning. Still a close game here. Cardis could use a strikeout. The 0-1 is fouled away. It's 0-2, so he's 1 strike away from getting it. This is very similar to a spot we were in game 1. It was 3-0 St. Francis. That was in the 5th inning. And Lincon had runners at second and third, but could not get any runs out of that spot. St. Francis ended up putting it away the next inning. Ball low and outside, 1-2. So the 2 main differences between this scenario and that one. Well, first of all, this is the 4th inning, not the 5th. It's a 9-inning game, not a 7. And also, there's only 1 out right now. They had 2 outs when they put 2 on in that last one. We got strike 3 here on Dominic Tenayuka, who was hit by the pitch, but he was ruled to have leaned into it, and it's called strike 3. And the second out of the inning, a big strikeout for Cardis, a big break as the ball did hit the sleeve of Dominic Tenayuka and could have been called a hit by pitch with a runner going down to first base. But that one actually looked kind of straightforward that he did lean into it. It may have very well been a hittable pitch if he had swung. There's a swing from Elders, popped up to shallow left field, backing up Carraro, makes the catch, and Lincon does leave them at second and third. Another good tightrope walk from Kevin Cardis as his shutout remains intact through 4. We head to the bottom of the inning, 3-0 St. Francis. Jonathan Wolf leads off the fourth inning for St. Francis, leading 3-0. Derek Fitzgerald's first pitch to Wolf is hit in the air out to left center field. Long run back for Davidson. Davidson loses his cap, but keeps with the ball the whole way. Makes a nice catch on the run out in deep left center. Wolf is retired on the first pitch of the inning. 7 straight retired by Derek Fitzgerald. First time through the batting order, 7 out of 9 Saints reached base against him. The second time through the order, they're 0 for 6. The only player that was not counted against the batting average is John McGuire, who flew out to center, but it was a sacrifice fly. So they're 0 for 6, but all 7 have been set down. Strike one called on Liam Higgins to begin his second at bat. Higgins is 1 for 1, hit his first double of the season in the second inning. He flies this one into left field, sinking fast and dropping in front of Dylan Elders. Liam Higgins is 2 for 2. That snaps that 0 for 7 string. And the Saints have their first base runner since there was nobody out in the second inning. There's 1 out in the fourth right now. They've got a man at first base. It's not Higgins, but John Peterson, who is Higgins' designated pinch runner in this game. Here's Jake Vera. Peterson is used to running for Jake Lasota, who typically starts behind the plate. Lasota is the designated hitter in this game, so he's had to run for himself when he's been on base. Ball in the dirt. Peterson takes off for second and makes it in easily. 1-0 on Jake Vera. 1 out. A runner at second base now. Good read from Peterson. Took a strong secondary lead, and as soon as that ball hit the dirt, he was gone. And at second base easily. 1 ball, no strikes. Jake Vera takes a ball inside. It's 2-0. Fitzgerald glances back at the runner. Next pitch over the inside corner, 2-1. Derek Fitzgerald's been pretty good so far, but he's got an ERA for the season right around 20. So you figure the margin of error is pretty slim. He's got to be close to perfect as he fakes a throw back to second base. Nobody's covering the bag, so Peterson has nothing to worry about. Count remains 2-1. Ball outside, 3-1. Fitzgerald sets for the next one, glances back at the runner, and again fakes a throw. This time there is somebody at least covering the bag, so Peterson does have to get serious about moving back to second base, but he was only about a step off the bag as it was. So not much threat in that fake from Fitzgerald as Vera flies it into deep right field. Down the line, that ball is off the wall. Jake Vera, who homered to that spot of the ballpark in Game 1, has an RBI double off the right field wall here in Game 2. Peterson comes around from second base and makes it 4-0 on Vera's RBI hit, his 22nd run batted in this season. And the Saints add to their lead. Back to the top of the order. Noah Carraro, the hitter for the Fighting Saints. He's 1 for 2 with a triple. Struck out swinging his last time up. First time he was retired in 6 at-bats during the doubleheader. He takes strike 1 over the outside corner. Seven hits in the ballgame now for St. Francis. They had 5 from their first 9 batters, and then it looked like Fitzgerald had really settled in. But back-to-back one-out hits here in the fourth inning have added to their hits total and their lead as Carraro hits it hard, but at Dylan Elders, who makes a nice lunging catch out in left field for out number 2. Jake Vera remains at second base. And with 2 outs in the inning, John McGuire will be the batter. Hard hit ball that time by Carraro. Elders was in good position to make the grab, only had to take a couple of steps, but that ball got down so fast that he couldn't really get in good position to make the grab. Had to kind of lean forward and fall to his knees as he brought it in. John McGuire takes an extra slow one for strike one. McGuire does not have a hit, but he does have 2 RBIs. 0 for 1. An RBI ground out in the first, a sac fly in the second. Ball off the inside corner. It's 1-1. McGuire, the sophomore from Lincoln Way Central High School, is having a good week for St. Francis. Pitched a really nice ball game in a win the other day. He's had some big offensive performances as well. Again, Fitzgerald turns and fakes a throw to second with nobody covering the base. It's Jake Vera over at second now. Vera picked up an RBI double a few moments ago. 1-1 on McGuire. Ground ball to the left side of the infield. Backhanded stop by Tarlin. Long throw to first. It's in the dirt and they can't dig it out. Coming around third base, Vera slides across the plate and makes it 5-0. Tarlin's throw was in the dirt at first base. Lucas Harmon would have had the out if he could have made the pick, but just couldn't field it cleanly on a tough play from Tarlin. It's an infield single for John McGuire and his 3rd RBI of the game. 5-0. Here's Eric Maffey. Maffey takes ball 1. He's 1 for 2 in the game with a triple and a run scored. He popped out to second base in the second inning. Runner takes off, pitches outside for a ball. Throw to second is in time, and McGuire is caught stealing to end the inning. St. Francis, after going scoreless in the 3rd, jumps back on the board in the 4th. They add 2 more runs to their lead, and we head to the top of the 5th inning, 5-0. St. Francis on top. It's the top of the 5th inning. A lot of work to do for Lincoln as they trail now by 5 with the top of the order coming up for the 3rd time against Kevin Cardis. Brendan Eigenbrod takes ball 1 outside from Cardis. Has not been a perfect game from Cardis, but it has been a scoreless one. Ball low, 2-0. He's seen 7 men reach base for Lincoln over the course of 4 innings, but all of them have been stranded. Strike called, 2-1. Well, I guess 6 have been stranded. One of them was erased on a double play as well, but none of them have scored is the point. Popped up foul to the left side, out of play. Jonathan Wolf gave it a little run, but that one well out of his reach. 2-2 on Eigenbrod, who has not been retired in this game. Singled in the first, walked in the third. Leading off the fifth inning, he's got a 2-2 count. Lincoln's best scoring chance came in the fourth, in a situation that has become even more reminiscent of Game 1 as that ball's fouled away. In Game 1, they were down 3-0. They put the tying run in the batter's box with runners at second and third, couldn't score, and then the very next inning the Saints put it away by putting a 7 spot on the board. Ball 3 high, the count's full. Here in this game, it was 3-0 in the fourth. The Lynx had runners at second and third with only 1 out. Really trying to make a game of it. Ball 4 outside. Second time that Eigenbrod has walked today. Second walk total to go along with 2 hit batters for Cardis. And for the third time in 5 innings, the Lynx have the leadoff man on base. Here's Grant Stansberry. The Lynx had runners at second and third with only 1 out in the fourth inning. They could not score thanks to a strikeout and a pop-out. Cardis' first pitch to Stansberry is grounded to the shortstop. Carraro gets in front of it, throws to second for the force. McGuire throws back to first base, but no chance to get Stansberry. 1 out recorded on the play. They'll take it. 6-4 on the fielder's choice. And there's a runner at first base with 1 out now. Josh Tarlin is the hitter. High fly ball, deep left field, hit by Tarlin. That sends Vera all the way back to the track. Vera just in front of the wall, has room, and pulls it in for out number 2. The ball hasn't really been carrying all that well for anybody today. I guess other than Jake Vera, who did hit 1 out in the first game, but he really crushed that ball. Tarlin made solid contact, and on another day that would probably been a home run. Not any other day, but on the day where the conditions are slightly better. That was definitely the best hit ball of the game for Lincon, but it ends up as a fly out to the warning track. Tarlin comes up short in his bid for his 6th home run of the year. Here's Lucas Harmon. Harmon is 0 for 2 in the game. He takes a ball inside, 1-0. After Lincon left 2 men in scoring position in the 4th inning, Saints didn't put the game away this time the way they did last time, but they did add to their lead with a big 2 spot in the bottom of the 4th inning, and now Cardis trying to follow up that crooked number with a 0 on the visitors' side. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Throw to first instead. Stansberry is being held very close at first base. So far this season, he's attempted 3 steals and been successful twice. Still just 1-0 on Lucas Harmon. Harmon taps it foul. It's 1-1. Six runners left on base so far for Lincon. Cardis is trying to strand a 7th here with a man at first. Actually, Cardis doesn't want to strand him. He wants to just get him out. He's thrown over to first several times. But Stansberry has been able to get back to the base safely each one. He takes a good lead over at first once again as Cardis peers over his left shoulder. The next pitch misses high for ball 2. 2-1. It probably would serve Cardis well here to focus on the hitter. 5-run lead in the 5th inning. Wants to make sure he gets this out before anything else. 2-1. Blooped foul to the right side. 2-2. Another long look over at the runner at first base. Cardis is set, and he misses outside. Ball 3. He walked Eigenbrod to lead off the inning. It's Stansberry over at first right now, thanks to a fielder's choice. We've got another full count, and this time Stansberry will be on the move for sure. Cardis need not spend too much time looking at him as Eric Maffey backs up and plays behind the runner at first base. Swung on and ground ball to short, hit by Harmon. Carrero's throw to first is in time, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left on as we go to the bottom of the fifth. Halfway through this game, St. Francis leads Lincon 5-0. Bottom of the fifth inning, 5-0. St. Francis has the lead on Lincon. Eric Maffey will lead things off for the Fighting Saints. Maffey, Lesota, Ketchum due up. Eric Maffey was in the batter's box with a 2-0 count on him when John McGuire was caught stealing to end the bottom of the fourth. So Maffey gets a fresh start here. He swings at the first pitch, grounding it to the shortstop. It's booted by Tarlin, and Maffey reaches first base. So that's the first error of the day on Lincon. Maffey reaches for the second time in this game. And that brings up Jake Lesota. Lesota is 0 for 1 with a ground out. He's also been hit by a pitch. Runner goes on the first pitch to Lesota. It's high for a ball. Throw to second is off the mark. Maffey dives in with his third stolen base of the doubleheader. First one in this game. He's now got 14 steals on the year to lead the team. Maffey is 14 for 17. I'm sorry, make that 14 for 16 so far this year, stealing bases. Ball low, 2-0 on Lesota. Jake Lesota was hit by a pitch back in the first inning. He grounded out against Derek Fitzgerald in the third. Fitzgerald's best inning of the game, a 1-2-3 frame. It's the first 1-2-3 inning for either pitcher since the top of the second in game one. For either team, I should say. Ball outside now on Lesota, 3-0. Maffey's at second with nobody out. Saints, as they did in the fifth inning of game one, trying to outpace Lincon dramatically in the fifth inning. Ball 4 high. Lesota is aboard for the second time. Jake Lesota now in 2 games in this doubleheader has reached base 5 times in 6 plate appearances. He does not have a hit. It's been an interesting day for Lesota. Good one for the on-base percentage, that's for sure. Here's Luke Ketchum, 1 for 2 in this one with an RBI single. Drove in 2 runs in game one. He's approaching Jake Lesota's RBI lead as he squares to bunt but takes ball 1. Coming into the day, Lesota had a 5-run lead on the RBI totals. Ketchum is up to 36 now for the season. Lesota's got 38 of them. And Lesota doesn't have any today because he just keeps walking. He's had some chances, but has reached base without driving him in. Swinging away, Ketchum fouls it off for strike one. The corner infielders were way in on the 1-0 pitch. Ketchum elected not to bunt, or more to the point, Brian Mahalik elected not to have him bunt. It's 1-1. Fitzgerald sets for the next pitch and looks back to second base instead. Jake Lasota runs over at first base, kind of a rare sight seeing him on the base paths. Typically, he gets a pinch runner whenever he reaches, but he's not catching in this game. He's the DH. So it's a different story. Strike called, 1-2. Lasota has 44 hits this year entering today's action. 10 walks, 4 hit by pitches, so he's been on base almost 60 times, and he's only scored 7 runs because he almost never runs for himself. Foul back, still 1-2. But John Peterson has been running for Liam Higgins, the catcher, in this game. And Lasota looked pretty good running the bases back in the first inning when he was hit by a pitch, made it as far as third base. 1-2. Fitzgerald, a long set. And now again a fake back to second base. Maffey stole second. So now that he's on second, Fitzgerald is trying to make sure he can't swipe third as well. Now finally the 1-2 to Ketchum. Check swing on a ball low and outside. They will appeal. And the base umpire says no swing. 2-2. Time called in the batter's box. Ketchum steps out. Fitzgerald will get the sign in again from Brendan Eigenbrod. Another look back to second base. Middle infielders back up. Pitch to Ketchum is drilled into left field. Elders comes on, has to play it on a bounce. Everybody advances 90 feet. It's a base hit for Luke Ketchum. And they are loaded with nobody out for Sam Tumulty. Saints broke it open in the 5th inning in game 1. Trying to do the same thing again here. This is the 12th inning of action in this doubleheader. St. Francis has outscored Lincon so far 15-0. Trying to add to it as Sam Tumulty jumps out of the way of ball 1, nearly forced in a run. But he was able to avoid being hit by the pitch. He wants to drive it in on his own strength. Sam Tumulty 0 for 2 in this game. He lines it over to second base, gloved on one, hot by Tenayuka, flips to second for the force. That's all they get. Maffey comes in to score at 6-0. So the first out of the inning is recorded. St. Francis adds to their total. Ketchum is retired 4-6. Lasota is at third, and Maffey comes home on the RBI fielder's choice. Sam Tumulty drives in his 13th run this year. There's Jonathan Wolf, who's 1 for 2. Wolf fouls back the first pitch, strike 1. They're at the corners with 1 down, a 6-run lead. Jonathan Wolf trying to add at least 1 run to this advantage. He's the 5th man to hit this inning. The left-hander begins to throw in the Lincon bullpen. Runner on the move, pitches outside for a ball. No throw down to second base. Sam Tumulty swipes his 10th bag of the year. One and one on Wolf. Force play is out at second base, so they will not likely get out of the inning on a double play. Not that it's impossible, just not likely anymore without the force play. Hard grounder left side and through. That's a hit for Wolf. Lasota scores. Sam Tumulty pulls up at third base as Elders gets it quickly back to the infield. 7-0, St. Francis. An RBI single for Jonathan Wolf, his second hit of the game, and his 9th RBI this season. Still only 1 out. Tenth RBI for Jonathan Wolf, by the way. He had one in game 1, too. Here's Liam Higgins. Higgins is 2 for 2 with a single and a double. He takes strike 1. Higgins in the last 2 hours has more than doubled his hits total for the season. He had been 2 for 20. And then he had a hit in his only at bat in game 1. He's 2 for 2 here in game 2. So 2 for 20 over his first 9 games, 3 for 3 over 2 games this afternoon. Owen won the count on Higgins. 7-run lead for the Fighting Saints, who have scored 2 runs for the second consecutive inning. They have scored at least 1 run in 4 out of 5 so far. 1-1 on Higgins. Fitzgerald's next pitch. Foul back. 1-2. Next pitch, righty to righty, misses away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jarrett Rutledge is warming up in the bullpen right now for Lincon, in case things go sideways here in the 5th inning. Fitzgerald trying to get through one more frame. Ball outside, 3-2. First time through the batting order, 7 out of 9 batters reached. Second time through the order, only 2 out of 9 reached. Third time through, we've seen a lot more offense for St. Francis. Ground ball to third base, scooped up cleanly by Stansberry. His throw to first is in time for the second out of the inning. Sam Tumulty comes across the plate and scores the 8th run of the game for the Fighting Saints. Lynx able to get just 1 out on the play, so Higgins is retired 5-3, but Wolf advances to second base. And Jake Vera will be the 7th hitter this inning.
Left fielder, number 26, Jake Vera.
5 out of 8 men have reached base against Fitzgerald this 3rd time through the batting order. Jake Vera has reached base in both of his plate appearances in this game. He fouls off the first pitch here, strike 1. Vera walked in the 2nd. He doubled off the right field wall in the 4th inning, picked up an RBI in the process, and then later scored a run. No balls, 1 strike, and a look back to second base sends Jonathan Wolf scampering back to the bag. Wolf is aboard after an RBI single. 3 runs are in this inning for the Fighting Saints. Pickoff throw to second. Wolf's able to dive back in head first. Fitzgerald is more worried about runners at second base than most pitchers you'll see. He's a soft tosser. Looks like he's knuckling them up there, which gives runners a little bit more time to move. Ball high, 1-1. Still, the Saints have not attempted to steal third yet in this game. Fly ball into left field. Elders backs up on it, and Elders makes the grab. The inning is over. 3 more runs score, though, for St. Francis. They do it on a couple of hits and an error, and we will head to the 6th inning with St. Francis holding a commanding lead. It's 8-0. 8-0 lead for Kevin Cardis and St. Francis as Cardis gets set to face the 5, 6, and 7 batters for Lincon. First pitch is a swing and a miss for strike one on Jorge Saldana. Saldana's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. Ball outside, 1-1. Saldana, Lewis, and Davidson due up this inning. They'll each get their third chance against Kevin Cardis. Ball outside, 2-1. The Lynx have gotten their leadoff man on base twice in a row. They've done it 3 times in 5 innings today. Ball low and in, 3-1. So they've been putting pressure on Cardis all game. The right-hander pitching out of the windup right now. That's kind of been an unfamiliar position for him for most of the game. Swing and a miss, 3-2. Lots of base runners for the Lynx. They just haven't been able to follow through. They've stranded 7 through the first 5 frames. They've also hit into 1 double play. Ball 4 up and in. Saldana's aboard for the second time today. Back-to-back leadoff walks issued by Cardis. He's got 3 walks total in the game. Plus he's hit 1 batter. So Saldana's aboard. Lewis is up. And Lincon is trying to get themselves back in the game. This is one of their last opportunities to do so. They're down to their final 4 innings of offense. First pitch to Caden Lewis misses outside for ball 1. Next pitch, swinging. It's a miss. 1-1 on Lewis. Caden Lewis, 1 for 2 in the game. Last time up, dropped down a bunt single trying to get the runner over. And he not only got him over, he got himself on base on a beautiful bunt. I think that was part of the plan when he did it. Ball up and away. 2-1. Well, the score at the time was only 3-0, so just advancing runners was still a big deal at the time. Right now, they would like to do a little bit more than just advance guys. They need to score. Ball high, 3-1. 8-0 is a different story than 3-0. St. Francis has scored 5 runs over the last 2 innings to pull away a bit. Cardis sets for the 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, back-to-back walks issued by Cardis, who finds himself in trouble once again. So Kevin Cardis has now walked 4 and hit 2 batters. So those 6 free base runners may be enough to chase him from the game. There's a right-hander warming up in the bullpen. Not sure if we'll see a switch just yet. It's Quinn McGuire throwing down the right field line. Jarrett Rutledge continues to warm up for Lincon, so I think Derek Fitzgerald's day may be done. But I don't believe Kevin Cardis's is just yet. The entire infield is gathered together on the pitcher's mound, but I think Brian Mahalik will give Cardis at least one more hitter here, another chance to get through a jam. He's seen so many of them today. In the first inning, Lincon had runners at first and second, nobody out, did not score. In the third inning, they had a runner at, they had runners at first and second with 2 outs, didn't score. In the fourth, their best scoring chance of the game, they had them at second and third with only 1 out, but didn't score. Now first and second, nobody out in the sixth, and the batter is Drake Davidson. Davidson takes the first pitch strike. Eric Maffey certainly thought he'd be bunting. Maffey was way in at first base. And now he backs up to just behind the runner. And now there is a bunt, third base side foul from Davidson. The count goes to 0-2. So he just waited for the infielders to back up. As soon as they did, he bunted, tried to catch him off guard, and he ended up fouling it away. So now with a 2-strike count, the bunt seems less likely than ever. Saldana at second, Lewis at first. 0-2 on Davidson. Drake Davidson strikes out swinging. Big first out in the 6th inning. A big strikeout from Kevin Cardis, and that's his first strikeout since the 4th. He's now got 4 of them in the game. Here's Dominic Tanayuka, 0 for 2 with a flyout and a strikeout. Strike one called. Lincoln's second baseman is batting for the 3rd time after having flown out and struck out in his first 2 at-bats. Fouled off to the right side, 0-2. Cardis is 1 strike away from a strikeout. That would be a good result right here. He would really love a ground ball, try to turn 2. Fighting Saints have turned 1 double play in the game, that coming back in the 1st inning. 0-2 count on Dominic Tanayuka, who swings and hits it in the air out to left center field. Long run back for Jake Vera. Vera is able to get there on the slide. He and the center fielder Luke Ketchum nearly slid right into each other. Vera made a nice catch, and Ketchum did a good job of getting out of the way. Heads up base running from Jorge Saldana as he moves on to 3rd base. And they're at the corners with 2 down. Good play out in left field by Vera on a ball that hung up in the air just too long for Dominic Tanayuka. It was up there seemingly forever. A lot of ground for Vera to cover. He's able to make a pretty sliding grab. Here's Dylan Elders swinging at the first pitch, looping it out to left field over the head of Jonathan Wolf and down for a base hit. A run scores for Lincon. Lewis stops at second base. And it's an 8-1 ball game. First run of the day for Lincon. It took them until the 6th inning of game 2, but they are finally on the board. Dylan Elders has an RBI, his 4th this year. 8-1 is our score. Back to the top of the order, it's Brendan Eigenbrod. Eigenbrod has not been retired today. Not in this game anyway. 1 for 1 with a single, 2 walks. He takes ball 1 inside. This is probably the last inning for Kevin Cardis. He has pitched in and out of trouble all throughout this game. Currently back in it, up by 7 still, so there's plenty of room to spare as Eigenbrod takes the ball outside 2-0. But you don't want to challenge that by letting any runs come in. 1 has already scored here in the 6th. 2-0 on Eigenbrod. Ball outside, 3-0. Cardis has already walked 2 men this inning. He's also already walked Eigenbrod twice. If he walks him for a 3rd time, we may see a call to the bullpen. Just 1 hit in the inning. That was the RBI single for Dylan Elders. The other 2 both reached on walks, and now Eigenbrod has as well. So he's loaded the bases on walks. He's issued 5 of them to go along with 2 hit batters today. And they're full. Bases loaded. 2 outs for Grant Stansberry, and it looks like Stansberry will face somebody else. I don't believe the official call has been made to the bullpen just yet, but Quinn McGuire appears to be coming on. So I'll take a quick break. 8-1 is our score. St. Francis leads Lincon. The Lynx are threatening. Base is full, 2 outs. We'll get the exciting conclusion of this inning in just a moment. Big moment in the game here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning. Lincon trails by 7, but they can make it a ball game with a base hit right here. And they've got Grant Stansberry coming up against the new pitcher, right-hander Quinn McGuire. McGuire, the freshman, is on for the 10th time in relief. He's 0-2 with an 8.22 ERA. His first pitch is swung on and missed by Stansberry. Strike 1. McGuire this season in 15 1/3 innings has allowed 14 runs, all of them earned on 15 hits, 6 strikeouts, 5 walks for the freshman. Swing and a miss. He's ahead of Stansberry, 0-2. If McGuire can get this out, this is going to go down as a really good appearance. A really good start for Kevin Cardis. But if any of these runs score, they will be charged to Cardis, and they may affect the way we think about his final performance today. The 0-2. Up and away, ball 1. Grant Stansberry is 1 for 3 with a single, a fly out, and a ground out so far. McGuire doesn't care what kind of out. Anything will do here to get out of the inning and keep this lead at 7 runs. Stansberry strikes out swinging. The inning is over. A huge relief appearance from Quinn McGuire. He comes out of the bullpen with the bases loaded and strikes out Grant Stansberry to keep the lead exactly where it is. We head to the bottom of the 6th. St. Francis 8, Lincon 1. Eight to 1, St. Francis leads Lincon in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Saints go to their bench to start this bottom of the 6th. Hunter Darnell pinch hits for Noah Carraro to lead things off against a new pitcher for Lincon. I think both teams have gone to their bench. I'll tell you about the new man for the Lynx in just a moment. Rutledge's first pitch is a ball up high. 1-0 on Hunter Darnell. Darnell has batted just one other time this season. He did not get a hit. So he's 0 for 1. He takes the ball outside. 2-0. Jarrett Rutledge started at first base in game 1. Rutledge, a right-handed batter, throws with his left hand. It's his 7th pitching appearance of the season. He has no record and a 10.5 ERA. He fires a strike. It's 2-1. 12 innings pitched this year. Rutledge has allowed 22 runs, 14 of them earned on 17 hits, 16 walks. He has struck out 9. Ball low, 3-1 on Hunter Darnell. Well, we saw the Saints go to their bench pretty frequently in game 1, right around this stage of the contest. Foul back, 3-2. At that point, though, it was already a 10-run game. This one was still hanging in the balance just a few moments ago with the bases loaded and 2 outs in a 7-run game. 1 base hit from Grant Stansberry. We'd be looking at a relatively tight ball game. Definitely a competition still. Darnell takes ball 4 inside. Jared Rutledge enters the game with an immediate walk. And that's been his MO this year. 17 walks in 12 innings pitched for the season. Here's John McGuire. Saints still trying to break this game open completely. They've had a pretty comfortable lead for a while now. They've scored multiple runs in 3 out of 5 innings played. And they've scored at least 1 in 4 out of 5. John McGuire takes a ball outside, 1-0. But as Lincoln's last offensive inning showed, game's not over yet. Lincon got on the board in the top of the 6th, nearly added a few more. Ball outside, 2-0, but the Lynx have had that problem throughout the game. They've stranded 10 base runners through 6 innings. They've had 12 men reach base and have scored just 1 run. Ball low, 3-0 on McGuire. I mentioned, though, last inning that Quinn McGuire's appearance against Grant Stansberry was going to have a lot to say about how we thought about Kevin Cardis' performance. Turns out Kevin Cardis had a great performance. 5 2/3 innings. He allowed only 1 run. And he is in line to pick up the victory, which would be his 2nd of the year. 3-0. McGuire takes a strike. But if any of those 3 runners who were on base scored, particularly if more than one of them scored, would have turned into arguably a subpar day for Cardis. Swing and a miss, full count. Final line, 5 1/3 innings. He allowed 1 run on 5 hits. The run was earned. 3-2 to McGuire with the runner on the move is taken for ball 4. Back-to-back walks begin this inning. And the Saints have 2 on base with nobody out for Eric Maffey. Darnell is at second. McGuire's at first. Maffey will hit for himself. 5 1/3 innings, 1 run for Kevin Cardis, 5 hits. He struck out 4, and he walked 5. Also hit 2 batters. Eric Maffey swings at the first pitch and lifts it high in the air out to center field. Drake Davidson gets under it and makes the catch. Darnell tags from second and makes it into third base. Good base running by Hunter Darnell. They're at the corners with 1 away for Jake Lasota. Eric Maffey is now 1 for 4 in the game. Jake Lasota is 0 for 1. Lasota has walked, been hit by a pitch, and scored 1 run. First pitch to Lasota is fouled back for a first pitch strike. Lasota has now reached base 5 times in 6 plate appearances in today's doubleheader without yet getting a hit. Came in leading the team in batting average at .379. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. The batting average has gone down, albeit only a little bit. He's 0 for 2 officially at the plate in these 2 games, but his on-base percentage is shooting up. 0-2. Rutledge throws to first base. Darnell walked, McGuire walked. They're at the corners right now with 1 down. The 0-2 to Lasota. Popped foul and out of play. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Luke Ketchum is on deck as Jake Lasota bids for an RBI here, trying to recapture this 8-run lead that they had at the end of 5 innings. Another 0-2. Lasota hits it out to shallow right center field. That could be trouble, and it does. Drop in the Bermuda Triangle out in shallow right center. Darnell comes in to score. 9-1. So Lasota does have his first hit of the day, or of the doubleheader, the whole doubleheader. He hadn't had a hit, but he's on base for the 6th time. It's a soft hit, but it found some green space out in right center field. It dropped in between right fielder, center fielder, and second base. Jake Lasota has his 39th RBI of the season. Here's Luke Ketchum, who's got 36 of them and looking to add. With runners at first and second base, one down, Jarrett Rutledge sets for the first pitch to Ketchum and misses low, ball one. John McGuire made it as far as second base on that bloop single from Jake Lasota. They're at first and second now. Ketchum fouls it off. It's 1-1. Ketchum's got 2 hits so far in this game. He's driven in 1. Takes a slow breaker up and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Good hitters count here for a lefty-righty matchup. Ketchum looking to pull the Saints into double figures once again here for the 3rd straight game against Lincon. Ketchum flies it out to right field deep, backing Lewis up to the warning track, and it's gone. 3-run homer for Luke Ketchum, number 11 this season for Ketchum. And the junior drives in his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th runs of this game. He's driven in 6 runs in the doubleheader and is up to 39 for the season. The Saints lead it by 11. Second home run of the day for St. Francis. They've both brought in at least 3 runs. And now the bases are empty with 1 out. Sam Tumulty is the hitter. He's 0 for 3 in this game with an RBI and a run. He takes the ball low and in. What a 6th inning this has been for St. Francis. First of all, Quinn McGuire was able to come out of the bullpen and pitch out of a huge bases-loaded jam. And now they've added 4 more runs to their lead, and the way it stands now, they've got a chance to finish Lincon off early for the 2nd day in a row. 2-0 to Tumulty misses. 3 balls and no strikes. Well, this is how this inning started, with Rutledge not finding the strike zone. He walked the first 2 batters. Then he gave up 2 soft hits before the Ketchum home run. Swing and a miss, 3-1. I should say 2 softly hit balls. One of them was a fly out. One of them was a bloop single. 3-1 pitch. Up high. 3rd walk of the inning for Rutledge. Tumulty is aboard, and it'll bring up Jonathan Wolf.
3rd baseman, number 0, Jonathan Wolf.
Wolf is the 7th batter to hit this inning. He's 2 for 3 in the ball game. 2 singles, an RBI, a run scored. Wolf has got his average creeping up towards the 400 mark in limited action this year. Strike 1 over the outside corner. Wolf's been getting some increased playing time of late. And he's really made it pay off. Ball outside, 1-1. One run, 5 hits, 2 errors for Lincon. The Saints have 12 runs on 12 hits. They have not committed an error. Ball high, 2-1. St. Francis has scored in all but 1 inning. 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 2 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th. Lincon has scored in only 1 inning. 1 run in the top of the 6th inning. Ball in the dirt, 2-2. Tumulty started for second, but a nice block by Brendan Eigenbrod kept that ball in front of him and kept Tumulty at first base. This is their 12th inning of offense in the doubleheader. And so far, the Saints have only put goose eggs on the scoreboard twice. So they've scored at least once in 10 of 12 innings played. 2-1. Hit in the air to center field. Shallow. Coming in is Drake Davidson. Davidson makes the grab. 2 outs. Tumulty remains at first base. And Liam Higgins is the final chance for St. Francis to keep this inning alive. Already a big inning. Saints have outscored the Lynx today, now in the doubleheader, 22-1. 43-6 over the last 3 games. Strike 1 called on Higgins. Big day for Liam Higgins. 2 for 3 in the game, 3 for 4 in the doubleheader. Ball outside, 1-1. He's got the average over 200 with his 3 hits today as he swings and misses. 1-2. 8th man to hit this inning. If he reaches, Jake Vera will make it the full 9. The inning began with a Hunter Darnell walk. Darnell got the pinch hit, just his second plate appearance of the season. He ended up reaching base and scoring. Higgins will not, as he strikes out swinging. A strong finish to the frame for Jarrett Rutledge, who gets the last 2 outs, including a strikeout of Liam Higgins. However, he sees the Saints score 4 runs, 3 of them on 1 swing of the bat. A big home run for Luke Ketchum. We'll go to the 7th. St. Francis leads Lincon 12-1. We're into the 7th inning, and Lincon needs some offense here. They trail 12-1, their biggest deficit of the day, after the Saints scored 4 runs in the bottom half of the 6th. Josh Tarlin starts things off with a swing and a miss, strike 1. Tarlin just missed a home run his last at-bat, flew out deep to the left field warning track. He takes a ball. The count goes to 1-1 from Quinn McGuire, who came out of the bullpen in the 6th. Tough spot, bases loaded, 2 outs. He struck out Grant Stansberry. Tarlin drives one again to deep left field, sending Jake Vera back in front of the track this time. He pulls up and makes the catch. 1 away. Vera's gotten a workout chasing down Josh Tarlin fly balls. He's got a lot of power. But Tarlin has flown out now in each of his last 2 at-bats. He's 1 for 4 in the game. And that brings up the right fielder, Sebastian Pochin. Pochin swings through the first pitch for strike 1. Swings through another one. 0-2. McGuire has come out of the pen, gotten the first 2 batters that he's faced. Critical one to end the 6th inning. Gets the leadoff flyout here in the 7th. Now 0-2 on Pochin, who takes the ball outside, 1-2. This is Sebastian Pochin's first at bat in the game. He hit once in the opener and went 0 for 1, popped out to the first baseman. He takes low and in, 2-2. Jorge Saldana's in the on-deck circle. If anybody reaches this inning, we'll see the DH Caden Lewis get another chance. Chopper to third base. That's a foul ball. Still 2-2. St. Francis trying to finish Lincon off early today after scoring 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th. They can make this one a runaway if they hold Lincon off the scoreboard in the 7th. 2-2 the count. 1 out, nobody on base. Fly ball into center field. That ball caught by Ketchum for out number 2. And so Lincon is down to their final chance here. Jorge Saldana will try to keep the game going. He's already reached base twice. Trying to do so for the 3rd time. He's walked. He's been hit by a pitch. He has scored once. And now he's the final hope for the Lynx. First pitch, swung on and missed, strike 1. Quinn McGuire looking to finish this thing up strong with a perfect 7th inning. Saints pitchers have not had a perfect inning yet in this game. Strike called, it's 0-2. McGuire needs one more strike here. 2 outs, nobody on. The 0-2 pitch. Popped in the air, shallow left field. Backing up, Noah Carraro makes the catch, and there's your ball game. St. Francis defeats Lincon by a final score of 12-1. The 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th put it away and allows them to go home a little bit early after a doubleheader sweep. They won the opener 10-0. They take game 2 by a 12-1 total. Great day at the office for the Fighting Saints today. Looked for a while like we were going to be playing 9 here, but they end up getting things done at the bottom of the 6th to make it an abbreviated contest. Saints led this one from start to finish, as they did in game 1. They scored first inning runs in both games and never trailed at any point today. Here in game 2, they got 2 runs in the first inning, an RBI ground out from John McGuire, and then an RBI base hit from Luke Ketchum. They added a run in the 2nd inning thanks to a McGuire sac fly. Held off the scoreboard in the 3rd inning as Derek Fitzgerald seemed to settle in. After allowing those 3 early runs, Fitzgerald set down 7 consecutive hitters. But the Saints got to him again in the 4th inning. Jake Vera hit an RBI double. Vera later came in to score when John McGuire reached on an error, and that made it a 5-0 game. They added 3 more runs in the 5th. The big hit was a Jonathan Wolf RBI single. They also got one on the Sam Tumulty RBI groundout and a Liam Higgins RBI groundout. And then in the 6th, they truly put it away, but not before some drama in the top half of the frame. Lincon tried to make a game of it. It was 8-0. The Lynx got a run on a Dylan Elders RBI single, and then on 3 walks, loaded the bases with 2 outs. Quinn McGuire came out of the bullpen. McGuire struck out Grant Stansberry to keep it a 7-run St. Francis lead, and then the Saints put it away in the 6th. They got an RBI single from Jake Lasota that made it 9-1, and then Luke Ketchum's 3-run homer made it a final score of 12-1. Our totals in this one: Lincon 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors. St. Francis 12 runs, 12 hits, no errors. The winning pitcher is Kevin Cardis, who allowed 1 run over 5 2/3 innings. Cardis improves to 2-2 on the season. The losing pitcher, Derek Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald allowed 8 runs over 5 innings. He falls to 0-2 for the season. The win moves St. Francis above 500 for the first time all year. They're 22-21. They've won 5 games in the last 3 days, and they are now 18-13 in conference play. Lincon falls to 1-26, 1-16 against CCAC teams. That'll do it for today's broadcast. St. Francis victorious, 10-0 game 1, 12-1 here in game 2. Until next time, Terry Bonadonna signing off from Joliet, Illinois. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.